we thought that he was going to be moving on. Now, is he assured of being there all season long?
Oh, no. Look, they just spent the last 6 months telling everybody that would listen that they were going to trade him. They wanted to trade him. They gave him permission to seek a trade. The fact that he has a no-trade clause just gives him some say in where he ends up. But what they've done is extended their trade window by 2 months. The NFL trade deadline is November 2nd. So now what happened is no market formed. They couldn't find a team that was willing to give up what they wanted for him. They didn't want to just cut him and lose him for nothing. He got to a point where he and his agent couldn't find a market for him, and he didn't want to just end up somewhere on a bare minimum salary. So he takes a $6.5 million, which is nice backup quarterback money. And he'll see if a market develops here in September or October. He may still be able to get somewhere else where he can show what he can do. The no franchise clause, what that does is if he goes somewhere and plays great, he can still be a free agent. They won't have the power to keep him.
So one way or another, he will get to choose his destination in 2023, and we'll see.
And possibly this year.
And possibly sooner than that. So this is a very strange set of circumstances, Rob Ninkovich. Now, he's a former teammate of yours, Jimmy G. I know how much you like him. Do you feel like this is a win for him? Is it a win for the team? Who is this a win for?
Both. It's a win-win. So you look at it in a team's point of view. They have a young quarterback. Now you have a backup who's great experience, won big football games, high winning percentage. The team loves him. The chemistry in the locker room, everyone loves Jimmy G. He's a great teammate. So now they have that ability. If something happens to Trey Lance and he goes down, you got Jimmy G to go in there. And they're not paying him a ton of money. He has control over this. And you think about it this way. If they were to have traded Jimmy G a week before the regular season, that puts him in a tough spot to come into a new place, a new environment, learn a system, and go out there and have the expectations to be the high percentage winning Jimmy G that we all know. So, again, I think that this is a win-win. Both sides are going to benefit from this. And now Jimmy G has a little bit of control in the matter.
There's one person I can think of who might not be crazy about this arrangement. You know who that one person is? Trey Lance. Exactly. If I'm Trey Lance, do I love this? Because the other thing that could happen, not only could Lance get hurt, we all certainly hope he doesn't, but he could also have 2 really bad games to start the season, and all of a sudden the fans are chanting for Jimmy Garoppolo. Do we have a problem here?
That's exactly right, Green. This will test the mental toughness of Trey Lance, because as soon as that happens, you don't worry about the media, you worry about the locker room. I made a couple of mistakes in my career. We cut Jericho Cotchery. I had half the locker room come and say, you have no idea all the problems he solved. You made a mistake. And it's one thing for us to call out, oh, Trey Lance had this interception. But if it's Trent Williams and Nick Bosa Greedy that walk in and said, hey, we have a chance to win right now. Jimmy G can do that. We love Trey Lance. His talent is undeniable, but so is his inexperience. Let's go with Jimmy G short term. You could play Trey Lance next year, Kyle, but right now we want to win with the veteran.
Well, one of the reasons I think this is interesting, and Ninko, it's so valuable to have you here, is every sense I've ever gotten, the teammates love him, right? I mean, the locker room loves Jimmy Garoppolo.
He's just a down-to-earth guy, you know, and in every single walk of life can understand that when a guy walks in the room, you're like, I like that guy. He's just, you know, and he's a good-looking guy.
Is it because he's so handsome?
He's a very handsome guy, and he sells Wranglers. I mean, who doesn't love that? Again, like he's not
like a linebacker.
Exactly. But it does actually add up to play off of what Mike T is saying, that if things start going not so well with the young quarterback, there are veterans in that room who are going to say, hey, this guy took us where we want to be. Let's put him back on the field.
Yeah, well, because you don't know how many bites of the apple you have. So if you're an older player and you want to maximize every single year that you have, and if you're having a young quarterback struggle and you know that Jimmy G's sitting on the bench and he's taken us to, you know, heights before that we've never been to, let's go back to him.
Greedy, here's a big problem. When we had Brett Favre at the Jets, he was a fully formed quarterback with incredible swagger. He failed in Atlanta. It takes time for quarterbacks. So if we're in the formative years of Trey Lance's career, there's a big risk here. The first bump in the road, this may cause more problems than it solves.
So that's where the 49ers believe in their leadership structure, right? Like the head coach or the GM have been there. This is their 6th year. The locker room has strong leaders in it. They're not going to be afraid of doing this just for that reason. Now, I think, you know, get them in an honest moment. I think they'll tell you, yes, of course, it's something we have to watch out for, but it's something they believe they can manage. I think what's interesting, people are going to look at this and say, oh, they're hedging on Trey Lance, and that's why they did this. I believe based on the conversations I've had around this situation, that the 49ers would have done this months ago. They just didn't think that Jimmy Garoppolo was going to accept this low a number, right? He had $24 million coming if he found somewhere he could get traded to. So once they weren't going to keep him as a backup quarterback for $24 million, but for $6.5, it makes a lot more sense.
And one quick thing, he also had a shoulder surgery.
Right.
So this helps him have a little bit more time, recover. If he had gone somewhere else, nobody cared. Oh, yeah, you had surgery. You should be fine. Go play.
Yeah.
Be great. And now he has a little bit more time to recover.
With the people who've been managing his recovery all along.
The one other piece of this, and you mentioned this this morning in our meeting, is that the one team that both sides might have been hoping would get involved in this to create a trade market was Cleveland.
Yeah.
So I will ask the question one last time to Jimmy Garoppolo's biggest offseason supporter. Did the Browns make a mistake not trading for Jimmy Garoppolo when they could have?
A massive one, Greeny. It's 11 games. It's hugely consequential. Take nothing away from Jacoby Brissett, but you're one hit away from playing Josh Rosen or Josh Dobbs. In a year, you could go win the division. You're going to get Deshaun Watson back for the last 6 games. How are you not better not having Jimmy Garoppolo on your roster this year?
Right. So that's a quarterback whom you know who has 1 year left on his deal. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.